We're going to talk about Epcot film. Which one should we start?
I think we should start. I think we need to go around Awesome Planet, then Canada, and then end with Beauty and the Beast.
That's the worst.
We'll talk.
Okay.
But I think people want to talk about Beauty and the Beast.
Let's start with Awesome Planet.
Let's start with that.
Who liked Awesome Planet?
I liked that. I liked the term. Yes. I liked Awesome.
I will say it was the best of the three. No one's going to say they loved it.
That's like if you get shot 3 times, you're like, the one in the arm.
The one in the arm.
Clearly the best.
The best of the 3 of the gunshot. And I want to preface this with, I know the last couple of years we've been a little negative.
Yeah.
But I legitimately, I think everyone knows I was pretty positive about at least 2 of these.
We were all fairly
in.
excited, yeah.
Yeah.
And I just, like, Awesome Planet just immediately rubbed me the wrong way. Like, 2 seconds in, I was like,
tell me why.
Nope.
Really?
That's really
can I say Tom's reaction? So Tom was the first one to see it. We met him right outside the theater. We missed the show by 30 seconds. Yeah. So first group to go in the first day. Tom walks out. Me and Jason are waiting outside. And we're like, how was it? Like, we're excited. Like, should we go in and check it out? And Tom just goes, it's a turd.
It felt like someone just tried to be Epcot, like someone who just, like, it was done just as, like, you know, we're going to do all this IP stuff. What if, like, with the films, we'll try to pander to people. And instead what you got, it feels like a 10-minute interstitial on the Resort TV Disney Nature channel.
Well,
Disney Nature
what
is
I
way
said,
better.
Actually, really, I agree with that. But it doesn't tell you anything.
What I said is that after watching it, I thought it reminded me a lot of when you go to Walmart and they have all that footage in high color that's on the screens, and it's all nature-y stuff. And I don't mean that necessarily in a bad way. It's a very beautiful movie, and there's a lot of beautiful color in it. But it does have that sort of, like, kind of, like, you're separated from it in many ways. Like, it feels sort of like otherworldly, opposed to being kind of like, it doesn't look like the world you're used to. It looks like a very high-res, bright, sort of
looks
like
stylized.
Yeah, it's tons of stock. Oh, it's tons of stock footage. It's tons of stock footage.
Let me say this: of the quality of the three films, picture-wise, like let's say, like
it looks
gorgeous.
the best by far.
Yes. So that's one positive. 2, they added some special effects. There's a lights in the back where when lightning strikes, it strikes all around you.
What sense?
If you sit in the middle, though, some of them don't reach you.
Yeah, some of them won't, depending on where you
Because
sit,
they
and
put
also
them on
depending on where you
these
sit, you won't feel some of the scents or
side-mounted
breezes
things.
or misting. Because I saw it 3 times. Sometimes I got misted once, and I got air 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
And other times I didn't.
Well,
I also sat in a broken seat once, so great job on the
They
refurb.
didn't redo any of the seats.
Well, that's the biggest problem I think I have with the whole thing is it's not necessarily, I have issues with the film, but like they did nothing to that area.
No.
Like nothing. Yeah. And like my issue is
they vacuumed the walls.
They might have vacuumed the walls.
But
that
not
was when the
shampooed.
chocolate exhibit was in there, though.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the thing is for me is like it's weird to have this brand spanking new film in a gorgeous projector. And then you have like a lot of teal and like it just looks old. Everything looks old. And I don't know in 2020 if we care about sitting in a theater that is only going to show us a normal theater film. Like,
I was going to say this would be such a better film if this was 1997. Same film, same special effects, same theater.
100%.
1997, we'd be like, that was kind of cool.
I've never seen footage like that. I've never seen it in this. We're past Planet Earth. Like Planet Earth has been a thing.
That's not even the problem.
Yeah, I don't think. I think you could make an enticing theme park
storyline.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily.
A real estate agent trying to sell you.
It was a bad.
Here's the thing with Epcot. I think there were certainly boring things at Epcot.
Sure.
Symbiosis, which played in that theater, was horrendous. It was terribly boring.
Yeah, it was horrible.
But I think what Epcot was good at, if there was going to be something edutainment-based, it was good at giving you the base information, but also not talking down to you, but still teaching you.
Yeah.
You learned something in a film. And this is, if you are in first grade, you have to know everything in this film. It's basically telling you what biomes are, and then, planet Earth in trouble.
Well, we said when we were walking out that
something.
if you learn something from this film, you're too young to sit through this film.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I want to preface this though. One of the issues with Circle of Life was it too quickly the active sort of like do these things sort of got outdated. Like the idea of doing those things like recycle, it's a very 90s thing to say.
But also, like, that movie had electric cars.
Yeah, no,
which
I
are
agree
now
with that.
prevalent. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we joked about there was stuff in like Universe Energy too, where they got it. Sometimes Epcot Center got it right.
Oh, for sure.
Sometimes they didn't.
Yeah.
But sometimes they did.
Yeah.
And so some of that stuff remained timeless. But you're right, like having to tell people to recycle. Sure, but maybe then this should have been an update in where you.
What if their view is that it all
change the
goes
narrative
to
and the
heck,
film?
and they can't just tell you that? Like instead of electric cars where the future is bright and merry, it's like, well, we're all going to be dead in 30
But
years.
instead, we're afraid to mention global warming, and we're not going to offer you any solutions.
Yeah.
But go to our website.
Yeah, well, that is my biggest problem. I think is the ending is very poor, and the ending is very poor because it is
It's a
like
DVD bonus feed.
it's 100%. Yeah, for sure. I mean, anything that ends with a URL is not like an entertainment movie. It's like a.
I mean,
it's
it
an
could. I
exhibition.
mean, Disney does a lot for conservation.
I have no issue
that's
with the
not my
thing.
problem. Is that I wasn't told anything, and then it's like, well, if you want to actually learn something,
Yeah.
go
Go
open
do
your
this thing.
phone.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how I feel.
Yeah.
Like with at least with
Well, yeah,
Circle of
and
Life,
if that's
like,
the case, then I could have just saved the 15 minutes and sat outside the theater and looked at the website. Like I didn't need to go into the film to learn anything because they did it.
yeah, correct. The film didn't actually even do anything. Like it didn't say anything.
Here's what I would
It
say
was
though.
just like, oh, things are happening, and then
Yeah.
it's like, but what can we do?
What's happening?
It's
What
very
can I do?
quick.
What's
It's
happening?
very.
It's like if someone gave me the news
Exactly,
and like
what's
a
happening?
meteor is approaching Earth, and then like good night everyone.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Like, give me that.
Yeah. It's a very fast film. That's the thing too. It never takes a beat. It's like it is just going to like hit you with every little thing about. I mean, the world explodes to form our Earth in the first 20 seconds. Like it's very quick. And I would have to say though, as a beginning, I thought that was amazing. Like
Looks
there
good.
is you're just
Oh,
kind
I
of
watched it in reverse.
Yeah,
I
looks
thought
good.
the world ends like that.
I liked
yeah.
it until I was started to learn about biomes. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like the one thing I
I
like
think
about
this-
the end message. One thing I do like though is like, I think there's a lot of there was a generation where we were like, here are the problems and like the polar bears and like find out what you can do. And this is like, no, we can fix these things. It is possible.
Yes, we
can
Canada.
do it. So let's do it. And I
Different
think
film.
that is. I think there's an optimistic, like, very Epcot-y thing about, like, not sort of just being like, but being like, no, we have the science now. We can do this.
I'm gonna.
It's sort of a
Also, I didn't know I wanted
climate-
to say this. If
Yeah.
I wanted to say this, I said this to everyone I talked to that day.
Right.
I'm gonna say it though. It does have that vibe, and what I feel like coming out of there, and what I said as soon as we walked out was, this is Epcot for idiots.
Sure.
That's what this is. This is, I don't want to learn or, you know, I don't want to know what the future holds, and I don't want to actually learn anything on my vacation. It's like a feel-good movie, like things can be done, and you're just like, I don't have to do anything.
don't worry about
Other
it.
people are doing
but
it.
also,
This
too,
is
it's-
great.
Are going to be done.
Yeah, but
But
there was a
that's like,
I
if
think
you
there's a
watch the
political vibe
Imagineering
too, and being
story.
afraid to offend others. Is that they kept
Yeah.
it as safe as possible,
Yeah.
not offending any countries or people that maybe pollute more than others, or like
Well,
our
that's the-
country. We
well,
fly around
well-
in private jets, and we burn tons of energy here at Walt Disney World.
And that's the key, I think, is what you're talking about. Is pollution is not brought up. It's not a pollution movie. It is we are seeing seismic shifts, and we can combat
But it's
those
not
shifts.
anything
But we
movie. Is
don't-
my point. It's just
Here's-
it plays it so
Here's
safe.
the thing, on the Imagineering story, they have the part Ray Bradbury talking about
Yeah.
Spaceship Earth, and he talks about how people, you know, we have an obligation with this, and people
love
have
this.
to walk. They can't just like the attraction. People have to walk off the ride feeling inspired to go do something.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what Epcot was. And so this is Epcot for idiots. This is Epcot like, we think just because we're taking an
Doesn't inspire
educational
you to do
tone
anything.
that we are Epcot. But I'm going to be, again, a little mean, but I think, you know, I've blamed a lot of, I think, the problems in the last couple of years on management. I think there are obviously still some people at Imagineering who do wonderful things.
Sure.
Rise of the Resistance, the stuff coming up in Tokyo. There's been good things at Pandora. Those people are still there.
Yeah.
I don't like this Epcot team. I think we have a generation of Imagineers coming in who come at them mostly out of SCAD. And I don't think you can learn everything there is to learn about theme park design, filmmaking, or any of those things, just taking if everyone's taking the same college course on it.
Sure.
And I think this generation of Imagineering thinks they could come in and make a film about Epcot, that they don't need to do what they did, which was create new film formats, which will wow people, that they need to get the input from real-world experts so that the film is knowledgeable and knows what is the latest thing going on in that field. And those are the problems, I think, with this current slate of people, is that when you have geographical errors in a Canada film, it's because you're not doing what was done before.
Right.
I'll add to that just with. I'm sorry. Do you want to?
No. Good.
No, I was gonna say. So I went back the next day and watched it again a few times. I went with some of our weeks members, Tyler, Micah, hi, and Lauren, and like I said the same thing. Like when Animal Kingdom opened, like they had like Jane Goodall and they had all these other experts and they brought all these people in.
Right.
Like, wouldn't it be great if like they brought in like David Attenborough or something like that? Like the guy who like wrote the script on awesome documentaries about our planet. The guy
Neil
who
deGrasse Tyson or I don't know,
or
maybe
any
Bill
kind of
Nye.
expert. No, even if, honestly, I'd be impressed if they brought in their own Joe Rohde to talk about the planet. Like,
Or
just
even
bring,
consulted on the film. I don't mind if a celebrity hosts the film. That's really not my problem.
and that should. Somebody should.
I don't
host
think
it.
Ty Burrell does a bad job.
He does a good
Here's
job.
what's weird.
He's just reading a script.
No, here's what I think is insane. This movie is not based on anything. I don't get it. In the sense that, like, from what we see about everything else, they're like, oh, we'll just like make a normal, like, narrated stock footage, like no Lion King,
It's like-
no Brother Bear, no nothing. Like, I just
Like,
don't get it.
management was like, we're doing all these big IP things, and I feel like people came in and were like,
You have to do
people are
something.
gonna freak out. You got to do something.
Yeah.
It's on IP, and they were like, you can have the films.
Yeah.
Also,
but
dude,
not
then-
all of them.
But then, like, the people that got put on the projects were not the right people. We're not
Sure.
people who understood what Epcot is or what it should be.
Correct. They don't
And so
understand it, yeah.
we're going to live in this world where the IP stuff is going to be great and completely decimate what Epcot is supposed to be.
Right.
And then the things that are what Epcot is supposed to be do not in any way fulfill.
But does it feel like they're making
the
everything
message.
that could be temporary now? Like I feel like this
Yes.
whole film could be
As if they're
scrapped
going to knock
and
down the
redone in
whole
a year.
building?
Like,
Probably.
like it just feels like this film is not meant to last. Even Canada Far and Wide is not meant to last. I joke, and we'll talk about it in a second. But like, they literally talk about the North winning the NBA championship. Like that's going to be dated in 6-7 months.
Who
Like
winning the AB?
the North. Well, it's like the
Yeah.
Raptors won.
Yeah.
But,
No,
like,
that's totally. You're absolutely right. I
but
saw that
everything on
immediately.
like so this film, that film, and also I mean Beauty and the Beast will get
that's
to
all-
at the end.
but you know what?
But
I don't
everything
have
just
a
feels
problem.
so temporary and not like it's built to last
Right.
15 years. Like
But
it
I
used to
don't
be.
You
know
could
if
be
we-
talking about like anything. in
Yeah.
the
Toy
park.
Story Land wasn't built to last 15
Yeah.
years.
I'm saying all the new
or even
stuff,
18
Jason.
months at
I'm
this
saying
point.
the new stuff. Look at look at some of the old stuff
That
that, lasts. Like,
Connects Tower is going to fall on somebody in the next week.
You know,
well, you're
but-
all proving my point.
Here's
but
what
anyway.
but here's what I would say, about that. I don't necessarily have an issue with the idea that we can replace something that is easily replaceable more often. I don't want a film to last 10 years unless
Yeah,
it's a
I agree with
masterpiece.
you. I agree.
There's no reason to.
No.
But what I would say about, I think the issue with Awesome Planet more than anything else is, why would I go see a movie in a theater? Like, is it in Circle Vision? No. Does it like use projection mapping or something?
See,
no.
that's
I
what
can,
I said
I'll,
about the
I'll,
film.
I'll answer
What
that.
reason-
I'll answer that. When the
what
park is
reason to
crowded,
spend-
No.
no, so I'll answer this, and here's the reason why. Is that, one, people do not know as much as we do when they go to Disney parks. There's huge lines. Wait till summers and festivals and everything else. I was thinking in my head, like, if I was to bring some of my family members who have never been here or who don't do it as fast as, we do it, is if you need a break and it's something where you don't have to stand, you can go sit in a refrigerated area, which, air-conditioned theater, like, and just relax for a little bit. Out of the 3 shows, I'm going to say just go do that to kill 20 minutes, and you won't wait in line.
10 minutes long.
What?
It's 10 minutes.
Oh, 10 minutes long. I'm saying, like, you won't wait in line. You'll get to sit down, and it's
Here's
not.
the thing, though, Pete. When they built Epcot, there was a lot of films, and we today go on and on about screen-based stuff and how I personally am not crazy about it. But the thing with Epcot was it was stuff that had never been seen before. It was all new film technology. The film and stuff being used in those theaters was not what you saw at your movie theater. It was not anything you saw anywhere.
Yeah, it was
So
cutting
when you
edge.
went there, here's this, oh my God, this giant projection screen, the size of which I've never seen before.
Yeah.
And instead, we're expecting 40 years later to walk in the same theater, and just because you went HD, slap some lights on, and have a
You're right.
fan with mist, suddenly I'm supposed to be interested 40 years
No, there's
later?
an IMAX theater that's better up the road, and we're going into a auditorium where they probably have the same exact projector in a high school that you live next
I can
to.
go to Davenport, which is nearby, and watch 1917 in IMAX.
Oh, the Sinopolis.
Why would I go?
No, you're right. That there's better technology elsewhere. This literally feels, when we made the joke, I think with you, where I was like, oh, are we starting the first day of 10th grade? Or maybe it was with the other group. But it feels like the first day of school, because you go into this old auditorium with dated
is an
walls
old
and seats.
auditorium.
And you sit down, and before it starts, there's just a big curtain. You're like, principal's coming out. I guess we can't smoke in the bathrooms. You know, like, it's that's the feeling you get when you walk into the theater.
How did we talk about Awesome Planet for 20 minutes?
Yeah, we got.
It was longer than the film.
We gotta keep moving.
10:59.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
All right, let's move on. We've said everything we can say.
Yeah.
All right, let's move to Canada.
Wait,
foreign.
I'm curious about this though, because this is the
Canada
question.
first.
This is the question I want to ask about all of these though, real quick. Is it an upgrade?
No.
I would say it is an
I
upgrade.
one say it's an
hated
Yeah.
all three.
It's an upgrade, but it's not a good upgrade.
It's not an upgrade. It's terrible.
It's going from hot pockets to lean pockets.
Lean pockets aren't better. They're just less
But
fat.
it just lets back to it's something better, but you're not
It's
happy.
not.
You're still eating a
No.
lean
What I would
pocket.
say is
No.
I'm thrilled that the data, I'm thrilled that the education that is minimally provided is at least up to date in comparison to Circle Point.
Biomes haven't changed in thousands of years.
They don't talk about global warming.
Oh, he's so mad he turned into a robot.
He's in his Canada singing voice.
Yeah.
I
Move on.
saw
That was
these
one
people
question.
tweeting,
That's
all
all I
these
wanted to
Epcot
know.
fanboys are tweeting. Like, oh, Awesome Planet, Epcot's alive. You weren't even alive for Epcot. You have no idea what it
All right,
was.
don't-
It wasn't this.
Easy, Clint Eastwood. Get
It
off my
wasn't
lawn.
this. No, they're wrong,
No, it's
though.
true. It's true. Yeah.
They're absolutely wrong.
I know.
I think about how burned in my head that stupid Living Seas pre-show was. The Deluge. It was
Yeah.
just a film, but God, was it memorable. And I remember all the things I learned in that because it was done in such a thoughtful way.
But you were also impressionable at that age now, and you have to. You're
if I saw that today, I would feel the same about it.
But I still, I know you don't like Impressions, and we'll get to that. But like Impressions is an example of something that I
I
think
don't
like
dislike.
Impressions.
I don't
Uh-oh.
dislike impressions. I don't
4K
dislike impressions.
Beautiful upgrade.
I don't
Wonderfully
dislike
done.
impressions, but we'll get to that at the end.
We'll get
It
to that.
really brings that back to life.
So, conclusion is
All right,
Awesome
Canada.
Planet sucks.
Colleen, stop
But
trying
still
to
the best of
contain
the
our
three.
conversation.
And
All right,
we're going to talk
moving
about
on.
Canada.
Moving on, I'll get the broom again. We're moving on to Canada far and wide. Jason, I think already
sucks.
said he ate it.
And just like all things Canada, that's all the time we have for Canada.
Pete, you can,
Beauty
like,
and the Beast.
Pete, like you seem so mad, like so quickly. You're just coming.
Jason was already yelling about Canada, so let's let Jason start.
Go ahead, Jason.
Here's the thing. All right, there's like 3 jokes in the film, and
Yes.
they're not even funny.
No.
Hella yes, they are.
Hella yes.
If you want to talk about whether this is an upgrade or not, this is not an upgrade.
No, I agree.
They,
This is
Hella
not
no,
bad.
it's
should have
not.
left well enough alone. The old film was fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
The
There was
Martin
nothing
Short one could have
dated
lasted
about
another
it.
10 years.
They
Yeah,
could
probably.
have kept it. It was good. Now it's dumb.
Here's the thing. Here's my biggest issues with Canada Far and Wide. Stuff I love. You walk in and it's immediately already there's an image and it's not a black like it's just a blank screen. It feels like you're walking into something. It's unique. I like
Forest
it.
with the bird noise.
Yeah,
and stuff. I
it's
like
cool.
They could have done that with any movie.
No, they sure could have. And
Yeah,
China
they
does
should've.
that. China ends with music playing in the shot
Yeah.
of the wall, and you walk out.
The issues with it are a couple. One, they don't really use circle vision. The entire film,
Yeah, you're right.
Catherine O'Hara's voice is coming, like there's the podium, right? And that is where you start a circle vision film, right? You start it where the podium is because that's where everyone's eyes are, and then you can move them through the theater and make them turn if they want to. Or like with Martin Short,
There
right? You
is-
pop them
there
on
is
different
some
screens or whatever.
Vision footage, but
No,
it's
I'm not-
the same footage that was in the old movie.
And there's new footage too, don't get me
There
wrong.
is some
but-
new Circle Vision stuff that they filmed on a GoPro and then
Yeah.
sliced.
But my thing is this: none of it, like, they would use sound to direct you as well. Like if you think about China, like
we're gonna
you
make
could
sure
move.
you actually turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
But that's what
and
I mean about the
this one does not do that.
thoughtfulness. Like it was like
Yeah.
you brought in these people and every generation of Imagineers like is now getting less thoughtful.
Yeah.
Like instead of like going in and watching the old film, and being like, oh, these are the tricks that these guys learned over time, doing these films for 25 years, you know, to redirect
kinda
people. And instead, you're like, no, I know what I'm doing. I went to school for this.
Correct.
Yeah, the guy that did
So,
China,
kinda
Jeff
it's
Blythe
kinda
did
like you
6
put-
Circle Vision films before he did China, right? There's stuff that's known, and I don't feel like the people that did this new Canada
Every
one,
generation should learn new tricks and be able to surpass the
yeah.
generation.
But the
before.
fact is you walk in, podium's
they
here,
don't. It's
Catherine
the
O'Hara's
opposite.
voice comes out of the left speaker, Eugene Levy's voice comes out of the right. That's it. You don't have to move. You don't, and if you turn around, there's nothing really to see. Like there's no
it's
there's
the
no
same thing.
way to really drag you to the back. It's not. Yeah, and the other issue with it is they end the narration and then they play the song. And what happens is somebody opened the door to leave and half of my audience walked out because they thought this is the outro music. I'm supposed to leave now. Because if you remember, Martin Short comes back on at the end and is like,
great
well,
place for
like
a song.
here we are, right? And this is not like that at all. It's like we're done. I'm literally going to see Canada Far and Wide. Come see us, and then song. It's a totally separate entity from the
They
narrative
even
completely.
redo the song.
Yeah.
They removed the auto tune and put a new track behind her.
Yeah, and it sounds nice, and some of the footage is pretty, except for some of the
It's like
rougher
they had to
stuff.
fight for the most minimal budget.
There is
to
inconsistency
do
in
any of
quality
these
for
things,
sure.
yeah.
It actually feels like
They
they
should've
paid to
this-
redo it. Like there was no budget. They're like, we're gonna take whatever we
There's
have.
like 4 new Circle Vision shots,
Honestly,
and they're
they
dark.
should've saved
Yeah.
the
It was
money.
probably just them coming back from a vacation they had in like Paris, and they were like, or not Paris. I mean, like Montreal.
It's up there. Right?
I was thinking of the French language.
Central
The
Canada.
French
yeah.
language.
The French language.
Wow. Hold on. See you
Oh,
later.
man.
Good night.
So, jeez. So
This is-
anyway,
honestly, if they're gonna budget cut this project as much as they did, they should have just cut it all together.
They should have
Like,
just
I
left
would be
it. There was
happy
nothing
with the
wrong
old
with
film.
Yeah, this didn't
Yeah,
need to
there
get
wasn't
redone.
but again,
Exactly.
But the new
Again.
footage is so much darker than the old footage.
What did we
It's
all-
so much worse.
yeah. What
Just
did we
think
all
we took
say?
all the money from Canada Far and Wide and all the money from Beauty and the Beast sing along, which didn't need to be done,
put it
and
in
put it into
Toy
Awesome
Story
Planet,
Land.
which would have been really awesome.
Yeah.
Or
and
Toy
that space
Story.
could have been
Just
used.
build some shade.
Instead
Yeah.
of making one good movie, they made 3 crappy ones. For
Yeah.
Well,
crying
I
out
think,
loud.
and I think the issue with Canada Far and Wide too is, again, the issue I sort of had with Awesome Planet, but in a different way. Like, you have Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy, and you're just going to pay a narration fee. Like, you're not going to like make footage of, like, people have an idea.
Or
When
write comedy.
Right. When they first made this thing, I remember when they said, we're going to make a new Canada film, right? Everyone went, who's Canadian? And people went, Ryan Reynolds. They're going to get Ryan Reynolds. It's going to be kind of quirky and fun. They're going to do the same sort of thing. And they didn't. They literally
I
made
wish there
kind
had
of
been
an
like sarcasm
old...
from Ryan Reynolds. Like,
Well, I'm just saying.
A
they
lot
made-
of these
they-
films started with more expensive narrators. If I can share something, the person they wanted originally for Awesome Planet was The Rock. That was when
Because
I
he's a
heard,
rock.
I was told like that's the wish list. That's who we want #1.
But then he
And
read
I
the
don't know what
script
happened
and he
after
was
that, and
like,
they announced Ty
I'm
Brown.
out.
And I was like,
So
oh.
what about
so much money for this.
Canada?
I don't know who they wanted for Canada. But
I think-
know
I think
for
they're-
sure Awesome Planet they wanted The Rock.
I think
So.
Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara are perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with them. What's so strange is not seeing them on screen. We
I
have
just-
an expectation.
I would have liked at least some comedy,
that's big
right?
money.
Like, and there's 2 jokes, and they're not good. But,
Yeah.
And not all the Martin Short stuff landed. I understand.
But I guarantee
No,
Martin
yeah.
Short had a piece and probably improvised a bit of that script.
Yeah.
Probably like threw some stuff out there that
my
stuck.
parents had a Circle Vision camera.
Yeah, like he
You
like
know?
exactly like he had fun with
Yeah.
it. Like I'm sure like
You
current day
love a
Disney was like,
scroll.
here's the script, just read what's here and add
Oh,
some of your
man.
animated self to this.
I don't think. Yeah, they didn't add anything to
Yeah.
this script.
No.
This was like.
And like they like
2-hour
kind of
session.
mentioned Cirque du Soleil, but don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Cirque du Soleil had a whole like little Porsche in the old one, and now it's like, this looks like Cirque du Soleil. We're just gonna.
And
gloss
again,
it.
they
the
could have been
arts.
plugging their own thing. Like Cirque du Soleil opens in
they
Disney
had
Springs.
Lanuba clips in the old
like
show.
they could have literally like again another missed opportunity,
yeah.
which we would not have complained about.
Yeah.
It is a miss.
Yeah.
It is not as good as the one that was before.
The
that is
digital
not
map
Eugene.
looks
Critic
stupid
has
too.
spoken.
I think it
Yeah.
looks.
He is a
Yeah.
film professor.
Looks like
Yeah.
cheap film at a museum.
It is. It
It's
is.
very,
It does.
I went to the Kennedy Space Center, and it reminds me of some of the stuff I saw there.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way. I like
But
the
we
stuff.
expect
It reminds me of
something-
every
Disney's
science
always
field trip
done
I went on.
something more.
Yeah, it feels standardized. And also, why are you taking me like section by section? It's just such a strange
It's
narrative.
a field
Yeah, it
trip
was.
show. It reminds me of every field trip I went on as a child.
Yeah,
Like we didn't need the map before. Why do we need the map now?
I don't know.
Correct. Yeah.
because they're playing Risk. I don't know if you noticed. That's a screenshot from Risk, the board game.
Yeah,
like
kinda
you know,
is.
in the movie.
Yeah,
Go
because
back
everyone
and look.
wants to. It's real hard to
Yeah.
take over.
You
Canada.
have to
What
go over
was-
to Kazakhstan and go down.
What was the rodeo? What's that called?
Kamchatka, that's
Oh,
right.
the Calgary
Irkutsk.
Stampede.
Yeah, so the Calgary Stampede. So one of them, I just remember being in there, and Eugene Levy goes, "The Calgary Stampede," and all I could hear is, "The Calgary Stampede!" Like that, like I heard the Martin Short voice in my head, and I was like, "That's the
In the
difference."
saddle.
No
for
joke.
a
We
while.
went the
See,
next
I
day.
can
In the
remember
saddle.
No,
all the
we
lines
went the
from
next
that
day.
film.
People left before the Stampede. At the end, when the song came on, everyone left the theater,
Yeah.
and maybe 30% stayed behind, and that whole 70% didn't hear the song at all.
And guys,
because they thought the show was just over.
Yeah.
They left.
Yeah.
70% of a full theater left.
I'm a
before the
firm
end.
believer that song should have went. I don't think it's a classic.
No. Jason, please sing it for. He's
I
never
don't-
heard you
I
sing it,
don't
Jason.
think it's good.
I don't agree with you.
Canada.
No, you were so much.
We've
He
lost
belted it out in the
so
theater.
much of the Epcot music. I think a lot of it is
That's
timeless.
Because, Pete, that was because I had like 4 of those Grand Marnier slushies.
Oh, okay. Well, you were sounded like an angel.
But
You were a
anyway.
cherub in my ear.
Let's move on to what we really want to talk about.
Let's move on to Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and
God.
the
This one
Beast.
sucks the most.
Can I?
Why don't we just film
Sing-along
this live
at
from the
France-
bathroom?
You're not even letting me finish. Beauty and the Beast sing along in the France. Beauty and the Beast sing along in the France Pavilion.
Yeah.
Go.
It is.
I don't
Yeah.
Let's take it out, everybody.
It is without a doubt the worst film Disney has playing. Hands
Oh, I
down.
thought you were going to say ever. I was going to stop you.
I mean,
That
no.
sounds dangerous.
But
But yeah.
Thanks for watching News Tonight. That's all we have.
holy mo!
Everything's bad and you
Guys-
should feel bad. Good night.
That's
No, that's a perfect review.
Here's
He's
the
a
thing.
film
Here's the,
professor. I
hold on.
agree.
Hold on. Let me just get it out. So here's the thing. You want to make a movie where LeFou's like, no, I helped out. I like did my stuff. Like, and he's doing it in sort of like a, no, I'm not the bad guy. Like, I really did some stuff. And then like everyone's like, yeah, right. And then like it ends, but the joke is everyone knows LeFou's sort of lying. That's fun. Like you can make it fun, right? But no, they roll out Angela Lansbury and like bad script she read. Like it's not. It's
Did you know LeFou is the good guy?
like I mean, it's like this weird canon thing about
So
like
dumb.
he wore her dress.
it doesn't make it doesn't make sense.
If Angela Lansbury had her wits about her, she wouldn't agree to do it.
Yeah.
Listen, this is so bad. Not to plug another show, but go watch Park Center from last night. We talked
We
about
own
this
that.
in depth. Like,
Yeah, you're allowed to watch that.
it's so good because everyone rants on it. But it called it a sing along, and every time you're about to sing, they cut away from
Yeah.
the song.
Somebody, I got to tell this story. I don't know
Yeah.
who I was talking to, and I'm telling them like every time you like start getting into a song, they cut the song, and they're like, "What do you mean?" So like they start going bonjour, 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 and then it just cuts, and I go,
Exactly.
"Actually done."
Yeah.
There.
I was starting to get into it. I was like singing it, and then it was just me like,
I don't want to
There
be.
goes the. Oh, okay.
I
we're
really
not-
don't want to
problem
be
with this.
like. I don't want to be this
Here's
like.
my problem.
Okay,
God.
go ahead, Jason.
This is a sing-along. It's billed as a sing-along. It's not.
It's not a single.
Not at all.
Because surprisingly, you can't
Right, it's
fit a
not-
sing along
there's not
from a
enough
movie in
singing.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
And
They
then,
probably could
for
have if they didn't do
some
this whole
reason,
nonsense story.
You're
So-
absolutely right. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. So who says, oh, we're going to have a Beauty and the Beast sing-along, and then whoever is in charge gets this bright idea, let's make up a dumb storyline that's not really what the movie's about, and put it in there too. Like, where'd that idea come from? That's so stupid.
If you would have just taken like the small little lines that Angela had right before each song came on, that she was literally just saying, all right, it's time to sing. Like, if you would have just taken that and just had the songs,
Yeah.
would have just been fine.
Here's what I don't get.
There has been one version of this done, and it was done well, and it's the Frozen
Yes,
one.
absolutely.
Yes.
The comic actors, the streetmosphere people, and I've seen it other places. It's terrible other places, but at Hollywood studios, those performers put on a great show, and the kids get to sing the full songs, and the performers make the adults laugh, and it's a really enjoyable show. It's how it should be.
It's
done.
also,
But
if I
that's
could add to
because
that,
they're
the
live
performers also add an element of rewatchability.
Yeah.
So like I've gone several times, and now like I feel like, well, now that they're changing the tiers, thank God. But there was nothing else to do in tier 2, so I used to take everyone to the Frozen sing along.
But everyone
And
I've ever
it was
taken
different. Like
loves
the
it.
performers like
Yeah,
made
yeah.
like some improv jokes that were different. It depends on who
Yeah.
was in the audience. Also mixing up the performers that actually did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that made it rewatchable. This I never want to see. Like I would not tell anyone to go see this. A, B. If they were like, come with me, I'd be like, I'm gonna be drinking outside. Like go enjoy your 15 minutes of hell.
The animation also looks like garbage.
Trash.
Because they did a 4K the movie,
Yeah.
and the portions from the movie, I remember sitting there thinking, like, yeah, this is a really beautiful movie. I love Beauty and the Beast. I really should rewatch this soon. And then they cut to, like, the new stuff with LeFou, and
it's
I'm
awful.
like, that looks like Saturday, like I'm watching Barnyard Commandos in the 80s. Look it up, kids.
Snow White and the
This
Seven
looks
Dwarfs
like
is better
garbage.
animation, and it was done in the 1930s and 40s.
Yeah, I mean, it looks, I can see, like, the frames jumping in the animation. Like, it's really terrible.
I will say the 2 times that I've done it, and I've done it 2 times.
You did it 2 times.
I've done it
You're
2
a
times
brave
with
man.
friends. No.
Brave
I
man.
saw it the first time, and then I had a friend that didn't get to see it, so we saw it. And actually, I did this yesterday. Points in time that you have to sing. Everyone's singing. I'll give them that.
Oh, sure.
The little points in time that you can sing, people are singing, and I think that's the thing. That it's like, no, it's a sing along.
Because they
Just
want to
do it.
Right, even encouraging
It
they're
turns out
they're
that
like,
the
this is
Walt
the part where
Disney
the dads
Company
normally just move their
has
mouth.
a
and they don't sing.
library
So sing
of
along.
animated
And it's
movies
like,
that
yeah.
people love and love the music from.
It's like they understand that, but they
Yeah.
just don't understand, like, and the funny thing is like, I personally don't like the film. You take the segments of LeFou out of that film, the segments of LeFou are actually funny. I actually think they're funny, but
Ish,
not
yeah.
in the premise of that
Yeah.
show.
Well, here's
You know
the
what it should
problem.
be?
and
A
here's
Disney
I think they
Plus
were
show.
all
Well, here's-
fine except the dress
Correct.
one. The dress one
It's
was
just weird.
uncomfortable.
It's just weird. Yeah. Here's what I don't. Here's what I really
Cross dressing
don't like
isn't funny. Shows should stop relying on that. for
Yeah,
that.
that's a bad idea.
Then I'm
right?
taking off this underwear. If this isn't funny, then this underwear is coming off.
Oh, Pete, why?
Colleen's dead, by the
Why?
way.
Why? So here's the thing. It's a narrative problem.
Sanka.
It's a narrative problem. So what's happening is you have Beauty and the Beast, and what this thing does is it says any motivations done by Belle doesn't matter. Any motivations done by Beast doesn't matter. Any motivations done by any characters really doesn't matter. Really, this one guy, so much so that at the end of the movie, if you remember, like at the end of Beauty and the Beast, right, there's the stained glass window of Belle and the prince, and that's what it is. And the thing keeps panning out, and it's this massive window of LeFou. It's not joking. It's not winking at you.
Well,
it's not saying
the
that it's
show
a
title
lie.
they couldn't use, and this is News Tonight, so we could use, rated PG-13 language.
Sure.
They wanted to call the show LeFou, bitches, and they just didn't
You know what?
fly.
If you're going to be PG-13, at least make it funny. So the thing is, like,
That sucks.
I just
Ryan
think
Reynolds
that
said
like, I don't understand why you go to such trouble to
You
make
know,
your narrative like
It's
so
like-
worky.
they forced it.
They
way
should have
hard,
just
way
called this
hard.
Beauty and the Beast Episode 9, The Rise of LeFou, because they just erased everything the movie before it
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
I have something to say.
What do you have to say?
I'm coming over.
Is she just telling us to end the show?
Where are you coming? Here? I mean, I thought about it.
I thought about it.
No, but sort of agreeing with what Nathan said. So
really
when we first read about this on the site, and I was mad, and I was like, Tom, they can't do this. I was like, this is it. This is where I draw the line. He's just like, are you kidding me? This?
Yeah.
You like the weirdest things.
Yeah,
My
that's
favorite
true.
ride is Soren, and that's the wrong answer.
No, it's a good
You're
ride.
wrong.
You're all wrong.
But this is why.
Everest is better, but
Get
Because-
out of here.
Hold on. I'm going to allow the one woman in this room to speak.
Yes. But this is why,
identify
because
as a
it
woman.
was like you're rewriting a movie. You're, as someone who, really likes stories and I love to read, changing the canon of a story
Yeah.
for no apparent reason. And Tom mentioned like Lion King 1.5.
Which is good.
Yeah, it's
which
good.
is good and fun, and
Yeah.
it's fun characters that you like who happen to be kind of having an adventure
Yeah.
in the background.
Well,
and it's
it's
also
it's
based
Rosen-
on a play. Yes,
Yeah.
it's based on Rosencrantz and Guildenstern,
Are dead.
which are characters
Yeah.
in Hamlet, and it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Whereas this seems like it's just we just wanted to rewrite Beauty and the Beast and,
I just
and
don't-
change the canon.
Yeah,
And
Why? There's no reason to.
But
Why
like,
take
if I
this
can-
beloved movie?
If I can say something, I feel like Nathan's body reaction he just had is what we've had since 2018 now. I feel like everything that happens here is just met with this as a fan or someone who's been here before. You just have this. It's just this.
No,
It's
wait,
what?
It's
No, what
gobsmackery.
have you
Yeah.
done?
Pandora.
I said 2018.
Okay.
It was
Yeah.
2017.
Exclusively about Epcot. I mean, I can add Epcot forever to this. It's just one of those things where you're like,
I just feel like even like the stores at Hollywood Studios, like
Sure.
ripping out beautiful murals and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Why?
just putting
Why?
a white tile. What? There's nothing. There's no detail. There's no theme.
why
there's
are
no-
you paying so much money to do so little with what you're
That's
doing?
really
Yeah.
what it is. It's like, oh, we're making all these investments for the 50th anniversary of Disney World. You're wrecking the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing you're doing is good.
Main
It's
Street
becoming
is
more
gonna-
sterile, and again, I think this
Yeah.
goes down to PC culture. Is that like
I-
it's just pleasing to more
You
eyes?
pushed the Grand Floridian Society Orchestra into an alcove
Yeah.
on the first floor. They're in a check-in desk.
Yeah, it's
I
insane.
want small things
Like,
that no one will
come
see,
on!
and now in the age of where you should be doing more niche, small things with social media, people are like, oh, look what I found, and look how cool this is.
Right.
It's now become just white walls and
But that's not.
blah.
that's
I
not-
want that small
It's
detail.
not PC culture. It's just corporate cowardice. That's all it
But
is.
it's the same.
just-
Basically,
it's-
I mean that same thing. Is that it's the failure to take risks because it might offend someone.
I don't think it has anything to do with offending anybody. They're just boring. They're just
Yeah.
not creative people. These are people
that's
with
what I think is the
numbers, and they go, well, we can spin this on it.
It's
go
a
make
creative
go,
company.
problem
It's
is
a
that-
company
that's
whose
the problem, we're in
entire
big trouble.
legacy is
Yeah.
built on customer service and creativity.
Yeah.
And they're happy to flaunt that. The Imagineering story will go at great lengths to tell you how creative and amazing they are. And then I'm supposed to show up the next week to these 3 films and feel like something magical and amazing has happened.
No, you're right. Nothing.
Who has walked out of any of these things feeling any of that feeling of any of those things in the Imagineering story?
Colleen,
don't-
I thought of something else.
you could literally sit in the chair.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
you could-
fine.
She just
I
keeps
sit a
popping
lot.
in frames. This is great.
I was thinking about because you talked about students going to SCAD and them not learning
Nothing
anything
against
from the
SCAD.
past decoration. Nothing against SCAD. SCAD is a lovely place.
It is, and not everyone that's come from
No.
it is.
Right, but it is a standardization. Yeah.
That's like that's the breeding ground.
Yeah.
I went to theater school, and I was around designers and artists, and especially the people younger than me when I was a senior and the freshmen coming in. There was a lot of that. There was this like, these teachers don't know things.
Oh, that happens all the time.
Like, I mean, and it was interesting even in just this small age gap and this idea of like, well, I have a computer, I can look it up.
Yeah.
What can this old person tell me? They have a legal pad.
And I see like Imagineers on Twitter and stuff, which they really shouldn't tweet things like this because it's really unprofessional. And I know
Imagine
people.
that.
I run a blog. Let's be honest. I don't work for a multi-billion-dollar organization.
Yeah. You wouldn't let you
that's
do
about
what you
family
did
friendliness.
if you ran Disney.
No, because it's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
But like they'll come out and say like, we know what we're doing and fans don't know. And here's the bottom line. And it's not about any of us being special.
No.
It's really not. But here's the thing. If you don't spend time in your parks, you're not going to understand
Yeah.
what they need
Yeah.
and how to make things for them.
Yeah.
You will not have, and that's what it's in the Imagineering story. It's in there where Walt implored them, his people, to go stand with people in line and experience things with them. And I would dare say that in the blogging community, not even exclusive to this website, that there are people who go several days a week and stand in these rooms and watch these things over and over and see what's going on and have more expertise and more knowledge on this subject than the people who are creating it now. That is most of the problem, is that they do not go and experience parks as guests. They don't look at the things that came before. They instead think they have all the answers, and they write a film, and they put it in, and it is a downgrade because they don't understand the thing they are making.
And I think what you're seeing is, how do you make a classic, like let's take Awesome Planet as an example. How do you make a non-IP based anything at Epcot now, in the sense of like, if you're working there and you're trying to figure it out, what do you do? Like, what model do you have when your template has completely changed, and the expectations of the corporation are completely different for an entire park? Like, you cannot please them or you cannot please fans, and so you end up making a middle-y thing that nobody really likes.
Yeah.
And that's even worse. And that's not their fault. I think that is the fault of a lack of focus and understanding about what this park should be.
There's no real vision for the park.
No. There's a vision for how they can make money with the park.
Yeah,
but there's no vision for the
they've chosen the
park.
right IPs to get people through the gate.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, like, I like how you said that, because I'm on the other camp. I don't mind IPs.
Yeah.
I like IPs.
I do too.
You know, I grew up with Disney because of IPs, because of Disney characters. That's what
Right.
I grew up
Yeah.
with. So going to a park, I expect that. But it sucks when I expect that and you get something like Beauty and the Beast the same
Yeah,
way.
that's a good point.
And you know, it's like
They didn't
and
do
it
anything
makes
for
us
anyone.
like us
Yeah.
fans that want IPs and then are like enjoying IPs. It makes us look bad at the same time, because then it's like, then everyone else that doesn't want IPs is
Well,
like,
they tried
this
to
is
do
why.
both. They tried to make an Epcot film and they tried to do an IP thing, and they failed at both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And honestly, I don't. If you, and I said this on the show, if you watched the show after the 2017 Expo, we did the big recap show. I think I came in and I'm pretty positive, and I said, like, I don't mind IPs if you use them to teach people things.
Sure.
Because it's what children programming has been doing for decades now. Is using colorful characters to teach kids things. And as fans, we don't have a problem with that. We love the Muppets. The Muppets have been used to teach people many things.
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse has had a Disney Junior Playhouse Disney show, all sorts of shows where kids learn things.
Yeah.
And I was like, if Guardians of the Galaxy is fun and irreverent, but also like sneaks in like an educational message,
Right.
that's great.
Can I
Yeah.
just to throw something out there too? Because you guys talk about the vision of the park and they don't even know where they're going. We all know that this is strictly dollars and cents almost at this point when it comes down to company. And when you throw all the new projects on the table, and you have the Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster, tons of money. Then it's like we have to build this 3-story building for fireworks viewing and event center in the middle.
Right.
That's tons of money. Then you have the Moana adventure over here.
That's
Then you
tons of
have,
money, yeah.
by the time you get down to the films on that list of everything going on at Epcot, and you can go to the preview center to see everything that's going on. It's almost like they don't even care. I mean, like, who even checked the script might not even matter, because well, we threw $100,000 at this, and this is going to be millions and millions and millions of dollars over here. So this gets our attention, and I think that's the biggest problem, is that it just kind of got pushed to the side, it feels like, and they said, it looks good enough. And meanwhile, it's like, as long as Guardians is good, but that's getting budget cut too. It's
I was
just
about to say, I was
budget
going
cut
to
to
argue
death.
that. I was
because
like,
everything's
something-
getting sliced across the board, and then again, when it's just so low on the totem
That
pole.
started with 12 animatronics.
Yeah, and
There's
it's just
none. There's 0 now.
so exactly. So my whole point with saying that is that, like, if you look at they don't know the vision. I mean, they have a vision, and it's look at all these new things and bright colors and flashing lights.
Right.
But here's what's going to happen. April 15th is going to arrive. And on April 15th, that Beauty and the Beast ride is going to open.
Yeah.
And the thing's going to be jammed with animatronics. And not one of them's going to have a screen face. And it's going to be this wake-up moment. And then you're going to have Fantasy Springs in 2 years. And you know what? They already said 50-plus animatronic figures. No screen faces.
Yeah.
The world is shrinking. People are aware of what's going on in other places.
Yeah.
And I think people will realize more and more what Disney is doing, and that OLC is going to make it very clear that Disney is being cheap.
Yeah.
There's gonna be no
I wish they told me during
dancing.
Awesome Planet the world
When,
was shrinking.
gonna be
when
no-
some when
There's going to be no dancing around that after April 15th.
when some politician finally decides that Disney's too big and is a monopoly, I'm hoping that the Oriental Land Company takes the theme park
I don't
division.
want it. I don't
Because-
want it.
Yeah.
The hilarious thing is there's apparently Japanese fans who say that they want Disney to take over.
Wild.
And I'm just like, what are you, crazy? Like, what is wrong with you? Are you insane?
Yeah.
Do you want to lose everything?
Listen, Glass has.
Do you want Journey to the Center of the Earth and 20,000 Leagues to be Incredibles overlaid? I don't know what you... Please don't...
just one of them, the other one will be a
We're in a
steakhouse.
small time in Disney history, and you have to look at it as it's a growing company, and there's been a lot of management and changes, and people who've done amazing things, and people who have done not so amazing
Right.
things. So, There's another
As I've
era
said
coming up.
before, we ebb and flow. We go through this
Yeah.
battle between creativity and management
Yeah.
and penny pinching. And again, we're in the valley of the cheapness again. And then that won't work, and then someone will come in and try to be creative, and then something creative will fail, and we'll go right back in the
Just
hole.
wait for 10 years. In 10 years, everything they're creating, half of it is not going to be as interesting as it used to be. It's not going to hold up, and they're going to have to rethink. Awesome Planet's not going to be around in 5 years.
And the good thing
No,
is
because the
film,
building is.
films are easy to change, right? I mean, like
That's
it's
what
not,
everybody told me.
it's not
Was
a
the
big
Awesome Planet
mistake.
film.
You
That's a
would
big
think.
investment. You wouldn't knock down a building if you put this big investment
No,
in
you
it.
could tell it's
I don't know
a
how
quick
expensive
investment.
that film was.
They put the same amount of money into that as like a 30-minute afternoon special. Yeah, there's
It's
So,
like you would think that all this
you
money
know-
would hinder them of doing something, or like, oh yeah, we can change that, but no, it always just stays.
Yeah.
They make
gets
more for
stale
one day of
and,
guests than they spent on that
yeah.
film.
But hey, you know what's great? 7:30 to 9. You can go see Impressions of France
And
in
it's
4K
beautiful.
projection.
It looks
I actually
unlike
have yet
it's
to do
ever
that.
looked
I have to go.
before.
Yeah.
So that whoever remastered that, you did a beautiful job.
Thank you.
I'm not even Impressions fan, but now that I've seen it in that, I mean, I think it puts it above those two new films.
Yeah,
I
isn't that
think
wild?
it's so stunning. No, because you can really appreciate it because
Yeah.
it's remastered.
Well, and we
It's
didn't even- and I-
completely redone.
I get why they can't do it because it's from a movie, but like, the one thing we didn't talk about Beauty and the Beast is they're only using like
Oh, it's
a
only-
portion of the screen.
Yeah. I was
Right.
just
Like
thinking
you
and then
open
when
it
you
up.
turn on Impressions, it's oh my God,
It's
look
gorgeous,
at this.
yeah.
I was just
And this
thinking
footage
about
is
that,
from 1982.
I can't wait to see the new one.
Yeah.
And it looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We ended on a high note. Look at that.
We did because it's something that was made in 1982.
Yeah, the thing we like
Something
is
that
the,
in 1982 was one of the most forgettable experiences of your whole day at Epcot is now one of the few things we have to cling on to because the other films got totaled.
It might be the best thing at 9 p.m. at Epcot.
Oh boy.
I don't know. I like leaving. I like the Gateway Gifts package pickup. It's my 9 o'clock.
Oh.
All right. Well, we're way over time, so we
Yeah.
should end. We do have a post show for Wigs members, so make sure you stay tuned. And remember, kids, are you a fan of hella skiing? Hell yes! Good night.